What's up? It's your boy, the Black Andy Cap. We back in it, talking about Miami's win over the Florida State Seminoles. So Miami went out and dominated the Noles for the most part for 3/4, 3.5, right? Kind of the same thing they did with Florida. Not really, not really though, because they dominated Florida at the end of the game. Florida stayed in that game until the end, whereas the Noles weren't in that game until the end. They really weren't in the game, right? That was an aberration. That was a team letting down in junk time, just kind of like the touchdowns that Miami scored on Florida at the end were kind of in junk time, right? So, but that's neither here nor there. Coming into this one, before I forget, like and subscribe to the channel. But let's get right back to it. Coming into this one, if you go check out the podcast from Thursday. Coming into the weekend, I talked about Miami needing to go out and, I thought they were overranked until they proved that they were a better team. I felt like going into Doak at night, primetime game, and dominating to me would prove that they deserved to be a top 3 team. They did that, and so we got it done, right? And Florida State just didn't look very good, right? Keep clutching to that Alabama win. Y'all still clutching to that Alabama win, Noles? You still clutching? All right, I told you. The Alabama win means nothing, all right? Meant nothing. All right, people were excited because Alabama beat Vanderbilt in Bama yesterday. That should tell you how much that game doesn't mean anything, okay? Bama's riding on reputation and name. You're going to have to prove it to me until the end of the season, Bama. I'm sorry. But other than that, FSU proved to be who I thought they were, right? They were a decent team that got better from the 2-10 that they were last season. But that 2-10 just don't wash that stink off just because you fire everybody on the coaching staff. I had a Noles fan text me last night and say, "Hey, it was the coaching's fault. It's coaching. Coaching's the problem. It's coaching's the problem. You just fired everybody, bro. You just fired all your coaching staff and brought in a whole new coaching staff. Now coaching's still the problem? I don't get it. I'm sorry. Mike Norvell's reaching at straws, trying to save his job. Okay, that was what that was last season. Miami was just better than the Noles were, right? The Noles just aren't a very good team, so that's where we are. But what are the 3 things? My 3 things I'm taking away from Miami's dominance over Florida State. So thing number 1, Miami may be the number 1 team in the nation for now, right? Right now, going into the season, they look like the best team. Their strength of schedule is still questionable, right? Compared to what some other teams are going to end up having to go through the rest of the season. I don't know if Miami's schedule's that tough. They're in the ACC, one of the weakest of the P4 conferences, in my personal opinion. You can differ on that, but to me, ACC is the weakest in the P4, right? So I think Miami goes undefeated all the way to the ACC championship game where anything can happen. They're through most of their rivalry games, so they're going to end. I believe Miami's going to end up the number 1 team in the CFP. I don't think they're going to win it. I'm saying this right now. They're going to end up being the number 1 team in the college football poll when they choose the teams, but they're not going to win. They're not going to win the national championship because I don't think they are actually the best team in the country. I think Miami is taking advantage of some teams that aren't that great, and they don't really have a tough schedule. All right, their defense is legitimately good. I'll say it that way. Their offense looks legitimately good, but doesn't look great. All right. Thing number two. Thomas Castellanos, if he's got to throw you out of trouble, Noles fans, you're in trouble. All right. Miami shut down the run on dude, and what can I say? He had to pass the ball, and he looked awful. All right. He poor decisions. Couldn't find open receivers. Wasn't that impressive because he was forced to have to put the ball in the air. He's much better when he's doing things with his legs. His legs open up the pass for Castellanos in that offense. It didn't work out. I'm a big Gus Malzahn fan. He just couldn't get it done in between, right? Castellanos just couldn't. They took away Castellanos' ability to run the ball, and then him having to throw the ball. Just not. He's weak. He's a weak passer, and even Gus Malzahn couldn't overcome that. All right. Thing number three. Beck showed us that he can sling the rock last night. And if they have to depend on his arm, he's perfectly capable of getting it done. At least against the FSU Noles defense. Still not convinced he's going to do it against a better defense, right? He didn't do it against Florida, and Florida has a pretty good defense. They showed that against Texas, right? But For as far as we can tell at this point, Beck can get the ball down the field to the people he needs to get it to. He looked really good last night, and it was right through all 4 touchdowns. Right, he made the Noles look mediocre at best. So, but I mean that Noles defense isn't very good. But Beck can get the job done, I believe, for the most part for the rest of the season. Will he get it done in the CFP? Again, I told you, I don't think the Miami's going to win the national championship, even though they look really good right now. I just don't think they've left some holes out there against really good teams. Yeah, they scored 28 points. I thought they could have I thought at the end they kind of let it slide. So, we're going to give that up. But they still dominated. Like I said, they're still one of the top 3 teams, but I'm not I'm not bought in completely to the Miami hype right now. You're going to end the season as the number 1 team, but you're not going to win the national championship. So that's it, my 3 things. Miami versus the Florida State Seminoles. Like, subscribe to the channel, and holla at your boy. Peace.